Okay, we're going to look at a couple of my forehand drives here from the back of the court. We're going to look at a few in real time and then in slow motion. I really love slow motion analyze swing because when you're watching this, you probably are like, oh, it looks pretty good. There's not much wrong here. But if you go and you really want to pick apart subtleties to a swing, you might notice a couple of things here. So I would say early good racket prep. Racket face is slightly open, it's not definitely closed over. Like a lot of people go back, they actually close their racket face more than this, and then it takes a long time to get to the ball. So I'd like to be in this position or maybe even slightly more open in my setup position. But there's going to be a couple things here. So I would say the head was down nicely. I wasn't looking up early, so that's good. I potentially a little close to the ball. Posture is not amazing. Hard to kind of tell from this angle, but I feel like that just having both my feet that close to the side wall, that was probably a bit too close to the side wall. And because of that posture, I actually feel like right after contact, you can see my swing, my fall through starting to go kind of towards my left shoulder. And to really hit the ball as straight as possible, then you need that swing to go up probably a little bit straighter, longer through the hitting zone. That's what I would recommend just when I'm watching here. So kind of critiquing my own swing, but that was just one swing. So we'll take a look at another one here. So you can see again, I always like before that ball bounces, racket is set. So it was pretty good. Again, pretty similar setup position. Let's take a look. The spacing here so far is actually looking a little bit better than the last time. Okay, heads down, watching the ball. That looks good, but I would pick apart this right after that shot. Actually, this one's a little bit better than the first one, but that's the hard part about squash on the forehand swing for me, is that you want to actually naturally your swing is going to finish up into that position, but it's about how quickly you start to bring that racket up there after you've made contact. So let's watch it here straight through in slow motion, and you can see kind of how that can get a lot of people in trouble. And some people are doing that as they're making contact, and then they're really never going to hit the ball very straight. And let's take a look here at one more. So backing out a little bit, that early prep, rackets up high. I felt like I was a little bit too close because I'm a little late actually here, backing up my foot to go hit that ball. Again, head looks good. I'd say spacing actually looks a little bit better in this one than the other one. I think that's something that's difficult to focus on when you're solo hitting because it's easy to, be a little upright. But this ball's fairly warm and bouncing up pretty high, so I don't necessarily need to get that low. But I like telling people that when they go to make contact with the ball here in this kind of a position, you should have enough space between the bottom of your racket handle and you for maybe a soccer ball or something. And obviously that's going to change depending on a few different variables, but that's the general rule that I like to people think about, so they can think that they want to have some space, and that has a lot to do with core strength, lower body strength, and also just if you're paying attention to it and working on it, you're going to have to be a lot more engaged in your entire body to actually play that ball, strike it properly. But let's take a look and see if this follow through right after I hit here is closing. Possibly, it's hard to tell, but it looks like this one goes a little bit straighter to here before I start curling up and finishing my swing. So I know some people that I've tried to work on this with, they've had trouble with this, and what I would do is actually basically put a ball here and a ball just in front of there and put them on some plastic golf kind of tees that you would use at the driving range, and just put them on like a little table. And I want them to go and be able to hit both balls off and hit them both straight, so that your swing is going parallel to the side wall and you're going to be able to hit that ball straight. And that, I think if you can hit it here, there, like if you can hit both of those positions with that racket face going straight through during that contact zone, then that's gonna enable you to hit the ball, the straightest. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why people don't hit the ball as straight on the forehand as their backhand. Obviously, also just we're hitting the ball with. Obviously I'm right-handed, so my right arm is, behind me. So a little bit different on the backhand when you're hitting with your leading arm. So it's a little bit easier to keep the racket face going straight through on the backhand side versus the forehand side, especially hitting off of, the left foot or in between your feet. So that makes a big difference as well. Hopefully that made sense, and I'll maybe follow that up with another video. But here we go, one last time, just straight through. So again, it looks fine when you're watching in regular speed here, and you probably wouldn't notice too much, except for people who've watched a lot of squash and some really good coaches. But that's something that's really useful. So take a look at your swing sometimes in slow motion, and maybe a few of these same principles on your forehand apply to you that apply to me. And I know that even though I'm at a good level, there's definitely some room for improvement, stuff to work on when I can get back out there on the squash court. Okay, so how would I try to fix this? For me personally, I could be consciously aware of it, but I find that my racket doesn't stay straight long enough through the contact zone when that left shoulder opens up. So I would probably just really make it a conscious effort to think about keeping that left shoulder more closed. You could also just try to hit some shots on your left leg, because just standing on just the left leg or stepping in with the left leg, it's going to be a lot harder to rotate those shoulders as you hit. And if I do that, my swing path is going to go a little bit straighter, longer, and also trying to get a little bit lower and wider with my stance, which is going to allow me to swing straighter for a longer period of time.